Fortnite Chapter 6 released about 3 days ago now, and I gotta say, it is one of my favorite beginning of chapter seasons. Season 1 is typically very boring for a lot of the chapters, and that's understandable because you want to have some downtime before you build up to the ultimate end event. But honestly, this chapter has had an amazing start. All the locations feel so nice, so fresh. Um, Everything, like the weapons are nice, the new items like the masks are really cool. Um, I just love it. It's amazing how this seems like they put their all into this entire chapter so far. And we're only in the first season, so I'm really excited to see what happens in the future. But for now, I just want to kind of go over my thoughts in this chapter so far, because there's a lot of very cool things about it that I feel like you guys really got to check out if you haven't already. Like I said, it released about 3 days ago now, I want to say, and it's honestly some of the most fun I've had in this game in a long, long time. I know a lot of people didn't like Chapter 5 because it was, the map got very chaotic, and even at the beginning it wasn't the most exciting map to play on. This map feels so diverse in its biomes without even having to look ugly. I know Chapter 5 was very diverse, but it was also not the prettiest to look at. But this map is just beautiful, and it's insane because a lot of the grass is green. It's not like there are some other color biomes, but it all feels fairly natural. The only not so natural part I would say would be the red biome in the southwest, but even that's just one little area, and it's still really pretty. My personal favorite area would have to be the orange. It's like Plankerton and Save the World if you played that. It's really pretty too. But everything about this map is just gorgeous. The purple forest, or I guess the night shift, whatever place, I forget. It's a great place. I love it. It has a really cool secret that if you bring Bushranger a sprite, which we'll get into those later, but if you bring him a sprite, he'll give you a vault key, and you can unlock this vault that's in the forest. And it also makes the sun come up, because if you didn't know, the night shift forest, the moon is always it's always nighttime there until you bring Bushranger that little sprites. One of the best spots, I think, which I'm dropping out right now in the gameplay, Seaport City. It is one of the most interesting locations on this map, and I like it a lot. It's very unique, I guess, and it just has a very good design. I like it a lot. I've had a lot of good matches here. It's fairly big. The buildings are fairly tall, and it's a lot better than I'd say our other city POIs from the past that have had this futuristic theme. It's like a mixture of Mega City from Chapter 4 and Neo Tilted from Chapter 1, in the way that it's got the style, the building style of Mega City, while keeping the explorability of Neo Tilted, because Neo Tilted, all the buildings were able to be explored, which is one big fault of Mega City, because you couldn't really explore most of the buildings. You could go to the very bottom floor and the very top floor, and that was about it, which was very unfortunate. But they've definitely improved on it here, and the fact that it shares that same style is really nice, because it feels like an improved version of Mega City. But it's just a slight bit smaller, which is perfect, honestly. I think Mega City was a little too spread out, because there wasn't a whole lot in Mega City per se, but it was just very spread out. But other than Seaport City, there's a lot of really good POIs on this map. I'd say this is one of our best Season 1 maps of all time, if not one of the best maps of all time in general, because it has so many unique POIs, but they all feel so fresh and so good to drop at, really. Every single one that I've played, that I've been to, it's fun every time. I don't really hate any of them. Unlike most of the other chapters we've played, I've had some locations in most of the other maps that I have not liked. A good example of that being in Chapter 5, I really, really, really did not like any of the desert locations, honestly. I think for the season they were fine, but in reality I just didn't like most of them. Same with Rubber Roost, it just didn't change, and it was so far out that I just never really liked dropping there. Even the Underworld locations I didn't much like. I like the Underworld itself because it was a very unique biome, but overall Chapter 5 had a lot of not so great areas, especially later on, because a lot of the bosses weren't there, so you had no reason to drop there at all. But this season, all the locations feel so fresh, so just really well made. I really think they put a lot of their effort into this chapter because it had to be good. It really had to after chapter 5. But yeah, it's a great map. I'm gonna have some videos coming out soon about other locations. I might do one for every location on the map currently because I think a lot of them really deserve it. Even some of the basic landmarks deserve a video, honestly, because there's some pretty cool ones. One location I do like a lot is the power plant that's over in the northeast, I believe. It's in the Plankerton biome. It's really nice to drop at. I like it a lot. And the dam too, which is I think Foxy Flood, something like that. But it's really, really fun to drop at. I like the dam a lot. It reminds me of Hydro 16 from Chapter 2, which I think it's a dam, so of course it's going to. But anyway, moving on to one other feature of this season, they've definitely improved their spawn islands, and I'm talking about the ones that spawn mid-match. This island feels so unique compared to our other ones from like Chapter 3 and 4, or sorry, 4 and 5, I should say. Because they were just like the same thing pretty much. You just had to claim them, and I'd say the closest we got to this would be the Doom Island, and even that wasn't really a boss fight. You just had to kind of, you became the boss really. But this, you have to fight a boss, and he gives you a medallion as well as an SMG, or I think it might be an assault rifle, and a sword. The sword is really, really good. That's one key thing about this chapter is all of the items, all of the masks, the weapons feel so just nice to use. I don't think there's any of them that I dislike really. Although the Oni shotgun isn't the greatest. I think it has potential though. Think of the Ranger shotgun, but it has 2 shots. I think if they buff the damage a little bit, it'll be really good. I think it could be pretty balanced without being like too overpowered, honestly, if they do buff it. It does need a buff desperately, but it's not terrible. I've gotten kills with it before, and if I can do it, anybody else can do it. But yeah, the weapons this season feel really good. I made the mistake one time of using the sword trying to use it as like the kinetic blade. Don't do that because you might fall to your death like I did. But yeah, it's very fun to use. The medallion you can see that I got from that guy, it gives you infinite sprint, and it also makes you invisible when you are sprinting. Think of the Mysterio medallion that everybody hated from last chapter, but just buffed to the max, because that medallion from this season is so useful. It is like one of the best things you can get. Like, you can run forever. It makes you invisible, so it's like harder to see you when you're running, which makes rotation a lot easier if you don't have like impulse grenades or whatever, or a car even. But honestly, it is one of the most like sought after things for me, because I destroyed in this match with it, because I was able to kind of sneak up on people with it. But yeah, it's one of the most fun spawn islands that we've had because it's so unique. The bosses this season too are really, really cool. They're very unique too. A lot of them, like the big guys you saw me fighting earlier, there's 2 of them. One's walking around the map, and the other one is on the island. There's a third boss though that is in the northeast, in like this big old like dormant volcano type place. She's being like puppeted by this Oni mask, and it's such a unique visual for one, but 2, it's also just very it's a very cool boss fight because you have to shoot the Oni mask's like eyes. And there's multiple stages too, similar to the Zeus boss fight from Chapter 4, or Chapter 5, sorry. But it's a lot of fun, and people say it was too difficult, but it's really not that hard to do once you know what you're doing. You just have to shoot out the eyes of the Oni mask a couple times, shoot the lady that attacks you. There are like shadow versions of the aforementioned lady, which aren't that hard to kill really. It's just pretty much just similar to like the Weeping Angels that you see in like other forms of media, because they don't move when you like are looking at them, but they will attack you if you're not. They are kind of creepy, which I think what they were going for with that. but they're just really cool as well. That whole location's really nice to drop at too. Like I said, there's so many unique things about this map, this chapter in general, that I really can't wait to see what they do next. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I'll have some more videos coming out soon, hopefully, if I can get down to recording them, which might be a bit difficult for me. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much, and goodbye.